Why should you be moving, or why shouldn't you be moving to the state of Georgia? Welcome back to another video. My name is Mischa Thompson, your favorite Warner Robins real estate agent. And in this video, we're gonna check out the 3 pros and the 3 cons why you should be moving to Georgia or why you should not be moving to the Peach State at all. So let's dig in. Let's start with our cons, and the first one is the traffic. Yes, Georgia is getting more and more congested, especially the Atlanta metro area. It is horrible out there. Traffic sucks. And everyone who drove to Atlanta at one point knows that the traffic in Atlanta sucks, people. But not only in Atlanta, as every growing state with more and more people moving in has its issue with traffic, because the infrastructure is just not made for the amount of people that actually moved to the state of Georgia. And on top of that, every school break, summer, spring, winter, whatever you have out there, a lot of people are traveling through Georgia to Florida and then back up, and it gets very horrible. So if you are thinking about moving to Georgia, make sure that you think about your commute time, because it can be quite a bit longer than expected. Number 2 of the cons is definitely the humidity, people, because it is humid here in the summer. It is freaking humid. And yes, if you are from Florida, from Louisiana, from Alabama, wherever it is extremely humid, you might get used to it, or you are used to it, but I am a firm believer that you cannot get used to high humidity. On top of that, Georgia is not really surrounded, other on the coastline, by oceans. So in the middle of Georgia, there is not really an ocean breeze that helps out with the humidity. It's just not. And you sweat just for no freaking reason. If you go out for a walk, you sweat. If you mow your lawn, you sweat. You walk to your car, you sweat. You sweat, you sweat, you sweat in the summer. Humidity is actually pretty darn ridiculous here. And maybe for some people it is not. As I mentioned, people from Florida, Alabama, Louisiana, where they all have humidity and they grew up with it, it might not be that bad. But if you move in from up north and you're not used to humidity, get ready to sweat. Number 3 on the list might make you rethink your decision of moving to Georgia. It is pollen. Despite the lush greenery that Georgia has and beautiful landscape, it is horrible for everyone that has problems with pollen. And in the pollen season, a lot of people, they're not gonna be happy here if they have issues with their allergies, because you're gonna be stuffed up all the time. And it's horrible. And it's extremely frustrating for everyone, because I've personally never seen that many people having problems with pollen anywhere in the world. And I lived in a couple different countries, people. So if you naturally have some issues with pollen and allergies, Georgia is not gonna kill you, but it's definitely gonna put you in your spot. Let's move on to our top 3 pros of moving and living in the beautiful Peach State. And number 1 is the affordability. Yes, everyone wants affordability, and Georgia is still one of the most affordable states in all of the United States. And that's probably why a lot of people decided to move from the upper East Coast, the West Coast, wherever it's more expensive, move down to Georgia, because the affordability, cost of living, housing, and everything else is quite a bit less expensive than in the United States in general. So Georgia is below the national average when it comes to affordability, and that's probably why a lot of people move to Georgia, and that is a huge pro, because we all want more affordable living with all the costs going up, especially during the inflation in the last couple of years that blew up everything. I mean, we want to live our life and not live paycheck to paycheck. So that is a big plus of moving to Georgia, the affordability when it comes to housing, when it comes to groceries, when it comes to transportation and healthcare and many other things. Georgia is definitely more affordable than most of the United States. Number 2 of the pros is the natural beauty. Georgia is not yet too overgrown with people and cities, and it has a lot to offer for everyone that loves nature, outdoors, recreation, because there is just a lot. From the Blue Ridge Mountains all the way up to Savannah, there is just a lot to do. Hiking, biking, kayaking, whatever you might want to do. There is a lot of land that is untouched here in Georgia. The natural beauty of the state is amazing, and if you are a person that wants a little bit more of that and a little bit more peace and quiet, hiking and relaxing, maybe Georgia is the right place for you, because you definitely have tons of options of do any outdoor activities and just enjoy the beauty of nature. Number 3 of the pros of living in the Peach State is the climate. While the humidity is definitely a con and it has to do with weather for sure, the climate itself is actually super nice here in Georgia. It doesn't get super cold. Yes, Georgians who lived here all their life, they think the winters are cold, but if you ever lived up north where it gets really, really cold, this is a breeze in the winter. You know, we barely hit below 30s here in middle Georgia. I think we barely hit below 40s. Actually, I mean, it is not that cold in the winter time. Spring and fall are super nice, and yes, the summer can get scorching hot because of the humidity, but overall, the climate is just nice. Yes, there are areas in the state of Georgia, up in the mountains up north, where it gets colder than south and middle Georgia. Duh, that's just normal because it's higher up, it's up north. But overall, the climate is super nice down here. And if you are looking for a warmer climate coming from Washington State, Michigan State, everywhere up north, North Dakota, where it gets super cold and you have to worry about snowstorms, well, Georgia might be the place for you. And don't get me wrong, it could be that we have snow in Georgia, like a flake or two, and then everything shuts down because Georgians are not used to snow, but that is rarely happening whatsoever. We do have sometimes a little bit storms from all the hurricanes that might occur in the further south region, and if they come towards Florida, we probably get a bunch of rain. But overall, the climate here in Georgia is amazingly nice for everyone to enjoy all year long, unless you have issues with pollen or the humidity is extreme, then it's not as nice. But overall, climate is definitely a pro. So there you have it, the pros and cons of moving and living in Georgia. While there are some drawbacks, but which state doesn't have any drawbacks? The pros overweight those cons, definitely. And if you are thinking about moving or you're actually moving to Georgia, let me know in the comments below where you're coming from and where you're heading. Super interested to see where people are actually moving from to Georgia. And if you have any questions about moving to Georgia, my contact information is in the description below. I would be more than happy to answer any of your questions directly via phone, email, or direct message, whatever you prefer. So if you like this video, smash the like button. Let me know in the comments below. Share it with your friends. Maybe you have someone who's moving or thinking about moving to Georgia and the information could be valuable to them. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and turn the notification bell on to stay up to date with all the latest videos I post, because I post them weekly. And if you haven't already, check out more of the moving to Georgia videos and all the information you need to make it a smooth move. I see you in the next one.